Are you waking up 2, 3, maybe even 4 times a night to use the bathroom? This constant interruption isn't just ruining your sleep, it's a clear signal from your prostate. There's a crucial conversation about your prostate that should be happening in every doctor's office after the age of 60, but it almost never does. It's not about more pills or invasive procedures. It's about 3 simple daily habits that can completely revolutionize your prostate health. Scientific studies have proven that these habits can be more effective than many expensive medications, yet they remain largely unknown to most men. My name is Dr. Thomas, and with over 2 decades of experience in vascular biology, integrative medicine, and the science of how the body heals itself, I'm here to finally have that conversation with you. I've spent my career studying how lifestyle, nutrition, and simple behavioral patterns can profoundly change health outcomes. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share could change how you live the rest of your life. And I promise you, the 3rd habit will genuinely surprise you. To make these 3 habits fully make sense, you first need to understand why this matters. Think of your prostate as a small gland, roughly the size of a walnut, located just below your bladder. The critical detail here is that it wraps around your urethra like a ring. As the years pass, due to natural hormonal changes, primarily shifts in testosterone and estrogen ratios, this gland begins to grow, and because it encircles the urethra, that growth starts to compress the channel through which urine flows. It's exactly like stepping on a garden hose, and this is incredibly common. By the age of 60, more than half of all men are already experiencing the effects. By 70, that number climbs to 70%. That's why those symptoms that so many men know all too well begin to appear. Difficulty initiating urination, a stream that's lost its force, the persistent feeling that your bladder never fully empties, and of course those relentless nighttime bathroom trips that dismantle the quality of your sleep. Here's the part that matters most, the part that most men accept without ever questioning it. They believe this is simply what aging looks like. They accept it as inevitable, but the truth, backed by hard science, is that you don't have to accept this as a life sentence. There are natural, scientifically validated ways not only to prevent this progression, but in many cases to reverse these issues, and that's precisely what I'm going to show you right now. Let's start with the first habit. Habit 1, smart hydration. The first habit is something every man thinks he already understands, but I promise there's a critical twist that changes everything. I call it smart hydration. I know what you're thinking, Dr. Lee. Drinking water seriously? Yes, seriously. But the real secret isn't how much water you drink, it's when you drink it, and that distinction is everything. Here's the straightforward science. When you don't consume adequate water, your urine becomes highly concentrated. It becomes loaded with metabolic waste products, toxins, and irritating compounds that directly inflame your bladder and prostate. This concentrated urine creates a cycle of irritation that worsens every symptom we've discussed. Urgency, frequency, incomplete emptying, all of it. And here's what most men completely miss. Timing is the master variable. The strategy is straightforward. Drink the majority of your daily water intake during the morning and early afternoon hours. After 6 p.m., significantly reduce your fluid intake. Ideally, small sips only if you feel genuinely thirsty. By doing this, you keep your prostate and kidneys well functioning during your active hours, while giving your bladder and your body a much-needed recovery window. Overnight, this isn't anecdotal. Studies show that men who follow this structured hydration pattern report up to a 40% reduction in nighttime bathroom trips. Let me put that in real-world terms. That's the difference between what? Waking up 3 or 4 times a night and sleeping through until morning with 1 or 0 interruptions. Deeper uninterrupted sleep, better hormone recovery, sharper thinking the following day. This is a change that costs you nothing and can be implemented before you finish watching this video. Now let's move to the second habit, one you can begin doing as soon as today. Habit 2, the strategic walk. We've addressed hydration. Now let's get into a habit so straightforward that your first instinct might be to dismiss it. Don't. I call it the strategic walk, and I want to be specific here because precision matters. I'm not talking about a 5-kilometer jog or an intense training session. I'm talking about a short, easy 10 to 15-minute walk taken immediately after your main meals. Sounds almost too simple to be meaningful, right? But the physiological mechanism behind it is remarkably well documented. Here's how it works. Every time you eat, your blood glucose levels rise. When you take a brisk but comfortable walk right after your meal, your working muscles act as a glucose sink. They absorb and utilize that sugar as immediate fuel, which prevents sharp blood sugar spikes from occurring in the first place. In fact, a landmark study published in the journal Diabetes Care demonstrated that a 15-minute walk taken after each meal was more effective at regulating blood glucose levels throughout the entire day than a single 45-minute walk. This is an important finding, and not just for diabetics or pre-diabetics. Now, the pivotal question, what does blood sugar have to do with your prostate? The answer is everything. Chronic blood sugar spikes generate a condition called systemic low-grade inflammation. And here's what modern science has made unmistakably clear. Chronic inflammation is one of the primary biological drivers of benign prostatic hyperplasia, prostate growth, and a significant risk factor for more serious prostate conditions down the line. So when you take that short walk after your meal, you're doing far more than stretching your legs. You're actively suppressing an inflammatory cascade that directly impacts your prostate health. You're improving your insulin sensitivity, you're supporting your vascular health, and you're doing all of this with no equipment, no cost, and no risk. A relaxed stroll around your neighborhood after lunch or dinner is enough. It's a small investment of time for an outsized return in long-term prostate health and metabolic function. Now we've reached the third habit, the one I promised would surprise you. Habit 3, natural prostate cleansing. I want to approach this third topic with the precision and seriousness that it deserves, because I know that for many men, this subject is surrounded by silence, social discomfort, or outdated taboo, but I'm speaking to you now as a physician and as a scientist, not as a social commentator. And the data here is too important to soften or skirt around. I'm talking about what I, as a clinician and researcher, refer to as natural prostate cleansing, and the science comes from one of the most respected research institutions in the world, Harvard University. In a landmark long-term study, researchers followed more than 30,000 men over a period of nearly 20 years. The findings were significant enough to reshape how urologists and oncologists discuss prostate health. The study found that men who ejaculated more frequently, specifically approximately 21 times per month or more, demonstrated up to a 33% lower risk of developing prostate cancer compared to men who ejaculated far less frequently. I recognize that 21 times per month may sound like a high number, but for many men, depending on age, relationship status, and overall health, this falls within a healthy and achievable range. The critical point is the biological mechanism, and it's both straightforward and compelling. Regular ejaculation functions as a physiological cleansing mechanism for the prostate gland. Think of it as an internal maintenance system. Each cycle helps flush stagnant secretions, cellular debris, and potential carcinogenic compounds that can accumulate within the prostate over time. When these substances are allowed to remain, they can fuel inflammation, promote cellular damage, and raise the risk of abnormal tissue growth. Regular clearance interrupts that process, and I want to be unambiguous about one point the Harvard research made very clear. The health benefit is tied directly to the frequency of ejaculation itself, whether achieved through sexual activity with a partner or through masturbation. I understand that for many men, particularly those without a regular partner, this territory can feel uncomfortable to discuss. But from a medical standpoint, from a public health standpoint, this is a completely natural, documented, and beneficial practice for prostate health at any age. If this topic creates discomfort, I encourage you to bring it up directly with your urologist. There is no judgment in that conversation. There should only be clarity about what protects your health. Now, let me bring these 3 habits together because they don't work in isolation. They're interconnected. How these 3 habits connect. Smart hydration reduces the concentration of inflammatory compounds reaching your prostate on a daily basis. The strategic walk controls the blood sugar spikes that drive systemic inflammation, a known amplifier of prostate tissue growth. And regular natural cleansing removes accumulated secretions and cellular debris that, left unchecked, raise your long-term risk. Together, these 3 habits address prostate health from 3 distinct angles: biochemical, metabolic, and physiological. That's why men who commit to all 3 often see changes that a single pill or isolated treatment simply cannot replicate. They're not working around the problem, they're addressing its root causes. This is the kind of integrative thinking that I've built my career around. The human body isn't a collection of isolated parts. The prostate doesn't exist in a vacuum. It responds to your lifestyle, your diet, your hormonal environment, and your daily habits, just as powerfully, sometimes more powerfully, than any pharmaceutical intervention. That's not an anti-medicine position. I prescribe medication when it's necessary, but I also believe that the most powerful first line of defense is the one built into how you live every day. A critical medical reminder now. I need to pause and offer you an essential reminder, not as a content creator, but as your doctor speaking to you directly. Nothing we have discussed in this video replaces the necessity of your annual checkup with your urologist. If you are over 60, your SAW tests and digital rectal examinations are not optional formalities. They are clinical tools that save lives. Early detection remains your single most powerful ally when it comes to ensuring effective treatment outcomes and a long, healthy life. I see men in my practice who delayed these checkups for years because they were embarrassed, afraid, or convinced they could manage things on their own. Please don't be that man. No habit, no matter how beneficial, replaces the diagnostic clarity that only a physician can provide. Make that appointment. Keep it. The bigger picture. At the end of the day, caring for your prostate is about caring for your quality of life. It is the difference between a third act that's active, independent, and full, and one marked by restrictions and discomforts that you genuinely don't have to accept. And I say this not merely as theory. Over my career, I've watched men implement these exact practices and report changes that are, by any reasonable measure, extraordinary. Better sleep, less urgency, stronger flow, more confidence, more energy. These are not small improvements. For a man who has been struggling with these symptoms for years, they can feel genuinely transformative. But I also understand that for many of you watching this, the symptoms are already significant. You're not at the beginning of this problem. You're in the middle of it. You've tried some things. Maybe they helped a little, maybe not enough. And what you need isn't just habits. You need a more direct intervention that targets the inflammation at its root. That's why I want to share something that I've been recommending to many of my patients. Something that has produced impressive results in a short time frame. It's a simple 15-second bedtime ritual that has shown meaningful outcomes in helping reduce prostate swelling and relieve the most disruptive symptoms. Constant dribbling, urinary urgency, interrupted sleep, often within just a few weeks of consistent use. What makes this method remarkable is that it works through natural mechanisms without the side effect profiles that accompany most pharmaceutical options. As a physician who studies angiogenesis and the biology of healing, I believe deeply in the body's capacity to repair itself when given the right inputs. This ritual aligns with that principle. Unfortunately, natural solutions that are this effective rarely receive mainstream attention. They don't generate the same financial incentives as patented medications. That's a structural problem in how health information reaches the public, and it's one I'm committed to addressing through my work. So, if you are genuinely frustrated, if you're tired of not sleeping through the night, tired of planning every outing around where the nearest bathroom is, tired of the quiet embarrassment that comes with these symptoms, I've prepared a short but detailed video presentation that explains precisely how this bedtime ritual works and why it's effective. The link is pinned in the first comment below and also available in the video description. Take 2 minutes to watch it. It may be the most valuable 2 minutes you invest in your health this year. Let's keep this conversation going now. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these 3 habits surprised you the most, or which one are you committing to starting today. If you have questions about prostate health, urological symptoms, or anything we covered here, this is the right place to ask them. I read the comments and I respond personally as often as I can. Also, where are you watching from? I genuinely enjoy connecting with men from across the world who are taking their health seriously. Let me know your city or country below. If this video added value to your understanding of your health, the most meaningful thing you can do is hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future videos on men's health, integrative medicine, and the science of living better at every age, and perhaps the most important ask I'll make today. Share this video, send it to a friend, a brother, your father, your son, or any man in your life who you know is silently dealing with these symptoms. Quality science-backed information delivered at the right moment can literally change the course of someone's health. Be that messenger for someone you care about. To continue this journey of understanding and go even deeper into the science of prostate health, click the video appearing on your screen now, where I reveal the specific foods that have been scientifically shown to support prostate health and reduce inflammation. I'll see you in the next video, and always remember, your health is your most valuable asset. Invest in it accordingly, Dr. Thomas.